There is no forgiveness in most of the Arab people's hearts because of the doctrine they follow. If we are to put Islam into practice, we will develop. People have Islam has ruled the world when the world were in peace. And you make one mistake, your hands is gone. You make one mistake, they bury you alive. They stone you. And then they will go to Old Testament. That's why I come and say that Islam is not built on the truth. It is built on the shadow. The likes of Mahatma Gandhi and the rest, Thomas Carlyle and the rest, who are much more intellectual, who are reasonable, who are rational in thinking, have said, had the whole world ruled by the teachings of Muhammad, the world would have been at peace. There are things in the Bible that is beyond common sense. It's beyond human logic. If men are the people writing the Bible, there are certain things they will not put there. Reason why Islam is the best is that Islam talks with rational logic, wisdom, and gives reasons for you to decipher in everything. Look at Palestine or whatever they call them. They were attacking Israel 7th October. And Israel came back and started bombing them. And now they start crying. They want to come and save us, so free Palestine. You are the one that is following a God. That is to go and fight people.
I posted a video about Sharia law. A lot of you, I think a lot of Muslims were angry and they said, oh, don't take away Sharia law. You can never take away Sharia law. Sharia law is Muslim and Muslim is Sharia law. Now, I stumbled across another video where we will talk about this Sharia law. And this Sharia law, I'm not trying to say they should take it from Muslim, neither Muslims should stop Sharia law, but they have to make it plain why this Sharia law is creating a lot of crisis in Nigeria, particularly in Nigeria. Now, when I make that particular video, I read some people comment why some were very educative, like a person like Nasi. He says some certain things that there are plain laws in that Sharia that help to checkmate the Muslim. But on the other hand, my argument is that this Sharia law, why is it that they are imposing it on other people that are not Muslim? Now, before we move further, I want you guys to watch this particular interview where these men were arguing about this Sharia and the Muslim and Christian, so that there will be a mixed reaction and balance at the end of the day. I want you guys to watch this video.
These Jews are Europeans. The real Jews are not there. When they came, the Palestinians gave them a place. They gave them shelter after the Second World War. They gave them shelter to stay. There are types of Jews, of course, which he doesn't know. The real Jews are black people. You see, when they sheltered them over there, check world map, around 1930, world map 1830, there is no country called Israel. They gave them a place to stay. And for 60 to 70 years, this Israel is bombing Palestinians. And this Israel don't even believe in Christianity. They are 1% to 2% in that country. Muslims are around 17 to 18%. Then they're followed by Druze and then Judaism. You are working in that country, they don't even acknowledge you. People who are unaliving children, babies, and you are supporting. And you call yourself peaceful religion? And one of his fabricated, concocted lies is that most Christian God does not say if someone doesn't believe in your religion, go and unalive him. We will come to the Qur'an verses in my rebuttal. Go and read Deuteronomy chapter number 13, verse number 6 to 9. Even if your brother lives religion, buy him, be the first to buy him. Hey. Deuteronomy 13. Be wild and read and see. If your brother lives, buy him. It is that God. If that God is useless and that God's sense does not make sense today, then that God at a point in time was not sensible. And God is supposed to be all wise. Didn't God send Moses in Numbers 31 to go and unalive children, unalive people? Numbers 31. And verse 17 to 18, they even fingered, oh shit, this word. They even put, you see, they did this to children. The little children. In Numbers 17. In Numbers 31, verse 17 to 18 rather. That is why when you check Mishnah in that chapter number 5, verse number 3 to 4 in the Jewish literature, it says children at 3 years old can even have sex. And this has been confirmed by even Rabbi Rishi. And when we say Jewish, we are quoting the Old Testament. And if we say it doesn't make sense and it's gone, at a point in time, your God did not reason to reflect that his sense could cover the entire race. We need to apply wisdom when we make such claims. When we talk of conquering empire and nations, the Portuguese Empire were Christians. They conquered empires and nations. They even conquered including Ghana. The Byzantine Empire, the Frankish Empire, the British Empire, the Russian Empire, the Kingdom of Portugal. in Africa and Asia, all these were empires that were built by Christian military, used to conquer nations and the rest. You have no mouth to talk over here. You should be quiet. Because when we put your own into on the silver platter, you are going to go quiet. It is only in Christianity that God have to sleep with a human being. Mary was how many years? According to the Encyclopedia Roman Catholic, she was around 12 when the Holy Ghost came to overshadow her. Let's assume she's even 100. God came to sleep with Mary to have a begotten son. If we say you are begotten, what does it mean? Slept with you till you had a child. Your God slept with small girl Mary, and that girl was even engaged to Joseph, who was 90 years. Sugar daddy. You have mouth to talk. Now, to sum everything up, reason why Islam is the best is that Islam talks with rational logic, wisdom, and gives reasons for you to decipher in everything. And it is God who chooses a religion, and he has chosen Islam. The only religion acceptable of God is Islam. Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Ay, malaikum salam. And then it's done. 45.
Now, this man have spoken, and a lot of people, Muslim, will applaud him because of his eloquence and the things that he said. Now, I also want you guys to watch the balanced side of the Christian, what this man also said in the said interview, and I want you guys to watch it with me.
There are things in the Bible that is beyond common sense. It's beyond human logic. If men are the people writing the Bible, there are certain things they will not put there. One of the things I love your enemies. I've seen that I have made so many videos on this love your enemy issue. How can I love my enemy? Because I using common sense. Is to tell there's a divine knowledge somewhere that have a principle of saving the world. That's why we Christians, we die for our faith. We don't kill for our faith. The reason we die for our faith is because we know that we can save the world. We don't fight in the world. We die for the faith rather, because we know what is in the people. The system of Satan to fight the truth. When you tell them the truth, they will persecute you. So we decide to die for the truth so that you will live and find the truth. But that's not the same in Islam. It's not the same, because when you read all the empires that came, the Medo-Persia, the Greece Empire, the Babylon Empire, all this, the Rome Empire. When you read the Byzantine Empire, the Ottoman Empire that came, they were all into the same thing, fighting and conquering nations. And when you said the Byzantine Empire was also fighting in the name of Christ, biblically, Christ has already cursed them, because Christ didn't send anybody to fight. But they are Quranic verses and hadiths. That's Muhammad himself is saying, I have been commanded by Allah to fight the people until they take their shahada. The lie, the shahada. Sahih Muslim 22. And you see, one thing about Islam is that the people are practicing it, and it is there clear on the media. It is clear when you go to the Arab nations, these things I'm saying, they happen there. There is no forgiveness in most of the Arab people's hearts because of the doctrine they follow. You make one mistake, your hands is gone. You make one mistake, they bury you alive. They stone you, and then they will go to Old Testament. That's why I come and say that Islam is not built on the truth. It is built on the shadow of God's plan to come and save us. So they are hiding behind the shadow, but the light has come and the light is exposing them. Because the stoning and all those things that God gave to them, it was a dispensation, not forever, not for the entire world. And even the law was only for the Israelites, not for the world. But the teachings of Islam is for the world. And we all must submit to the teachings of Allah. And the sad part is that they want to conquer the world and rule the world. But Christians don't care about ruling any world. If there is peace in the world and even 3 people are Christians, we like it that way. But Islam doesn't have that mentality. The evidence on the media, they gathered in England. They were majority. They were not speaking. Now that they think they're having numbers, they started shouting, we want Sharia laws. We want Sharia. What are you looking for in the Sharia laws? Why do you need the Sharia laws? You go to somebody's country. You leave your country. You go to somebody's country. They accept you all. Now that you are increasing numbers, you are shouting Sharia laws. The videos are there. Yeah. I don't want them to come and act emotional. Me, the moment you are acting emotional, you give me the power even to grab you more. Because that emotional thing, it doesn't work in my world. I hate feelings. Let's use logic. The videos are there. You are shouting Sharia laws. Sharia laws. And most of their sects in the Arab nation, they say Islam will enter every home. I don't need Christianity to enter in every home. All I need is the country should be safe. It should be peaceful. Whether 3 people go to church or not, that is what Christ wants. He didn't come to conquer the world. He came to conquer sin. He said, I am knocking at your door. If you are willing to open, I'll come in. I'll come in and save you. But if you don't want to open, I'll still be there. I'll not force you. But that's not what Islam is. Man, if you study the system of Islam, you will understand that it's not a religion. They just covered it with religious ideologies. But Islam is not a religion. And the problem is that they don't even have the knowledge to understand God's plan. Because they don't understand the Old Testament. So they use the battles in the Old Testament to justify what Muhammad did. If you understand the coming of the Messiah, you will know that anybody that picked the sword after the Messiah to go and fight people is not really sent by God. And the critical moment is that the Muslims are fighting the Jews. And in the hadith, they said they must fight the Jews for the last hour to be established. Malice. So as we are waiting for the last hour, Muslims in their mind, they must fight the Jews for that last hour to come. If that fight doesn't take place, the last hour will not come. How can God? This is where common sense come in and start questioning us. How can the same God be telling one religious say that, go and fight my own people so that the last hour will be established? And the evidence are still there. Look at Gaza. Look at Palestine or whatever they call them. They were attacking Israel 7th October. And Israel came back and started bombing them. And now they start crying. They want to come and save us, so free Palestine. You are the one that is following a God that is to go and fight people. Go and kill people. And the evidence are on the media. I'm giving you this. That is stating that the last hour will not be established. The last hour will not be established until the Muslims fight the Jews. Which kind of God is this? Which kind of God is this? So the Christians don't want to conquer any world. We want the world to be in peace. That is why Jesus teaches. Malice. The teachings of Jesus is the foundation of peace. The peace, how Abraham is talking boldly. His videos is online. He said he cannot go and stand in Nimas at a certain place to make certain comment. Why? Because he knows them. And they are not bad Muslims. They are good Muslims. And when you speak that way, Muslims are happy. They are happy that you are afraid of them. Why should I be afraid of you? A human being claiming that you are following a creator and you want me to be afraid of you because you know that if I'm not afraid of you, the religion will collapse. I don't need you to be afraid of me. All the time when I'm sitting, I say, be afraid of God. I'm a man of God, not a man of man. So when you dare me, I activate the God power in me. I don't say I'm coming after you. I don't say you meet me in that dancing. Abraham knows them. He knows it, so he said on his media that these people there, when you can't go and sit somewhere and say certain things, this is the system of Islam. They want to shut everybody's mouth and rule the world. And that is why I thank God for the Western powers. If it wasn't for them, by this time, Muslims have taken over the world. Oh yes, so we should be thanking God for the European countries and United States of America and China and Russia. Because Muslims are not sleeping. They are busily investing money. They just invested $1 trillion into United States of America's political system. Some people that you hate, because to them, US is a Christian country. And they must do everything to take it over. And they are planning. They are planning. Even you see that was sit on his platform and he campaigns towards that direction. Me, I don't campaign for Christians to rule Ghana. Even if Abraham will become a president tomorrow and the people will live in peace, I have no problem with it. What I'm for is peace. Whether you become a Christian or not, it's none of my problem.
Now, in my own opinion, and I want you guys to watch this particular video of this man who allegedly claimed that they came to buy him simply because he's now a Christian. He was once a Muslim, but now he's now a Christian. Simply because he quit Muslim and become a Christian, they came after him. And you see him screaming for his life. And I want you guys to watch the video.
Money mi ò ṣe Islam mọ́ ni o, tí money mi ò ṣe Islam mọ́ ni ẹgbà mi o, ìtí mo ṣe sí ni o, ẹgbà mi o, money mi ò ṣe Islam mọ́ ni o, tí money mi ò ṣe Islam mọ́ ni ẹgbà mi o, ìtí mo ṣe sí ni o, ẹgbà mi o, mi ò ṣe money mi ò ṣe Islam mọ́ ni ẹgbà mi o.
A lot of people will still argue, oh, it is not like that, there is like that, it is not like that. Me, the only thing that I'm still saying about this Sharia law, why is it that in Nigeria, they said we coexist and live together, and you cannot use your religion to disturb another person's religion. Everybody have right to practice their religion. If I live in Kano, Kaduna, Zamfara, Borno, and the Muslims are fasting, I'm not a Muslim. Am I allowed to eat at any place that I want? Or simply because it's a Muslim religion quarter, I can't eat in the restaurants, I can't eat anywhere. If I do, with Eastbound, come to arrest me. One. Now, we are Nigerian. We are free to do business anywhere we want. How come that if I decided to sell alcohol in Kaduna, Zamfara, Gombe, and all those places, they will come and destroy my alcohol, and I said alcohol is not allowed. Remember that for the Muslim, the alcohol is not allowed. What about those that practice Christianity? I'm not saying Christian drinks, but some drink. Christianity is not against alcohol. It's just an individual perspective. If you know it's not good for you, don't drink. There are other pagans who also reside in that environment. Would you now also say they don't have right to live their life, to go to club or go to bar to drink simply because Sharia law is against alcohol? In the same region, you are not allowed to sell pig because Sharia law forbids pigs. But they come to the Southeast and they do all kinds of business without being restricted. In fact, they even have quarters where they do all kinds of trade. They have never been restricted or tell because of Christianity quarters, you are not allowed to sell your ram, you are not allowed to sell your cattle, you are not allowed to sell your yam or tomatoes or anything like, okay, because this is a Christian quarters, you are not allowed to do whatever you want to do. Now you see the difference between implementation of Sharia in Nigeria. that some religions are being marginalized. They felt like their religion is very powerful. They have to suppress you. You have to abide even when you are not practicing the religion. That is the area that I felt that, okay, this Sharia law needs to really be put into checkmate. Other side is that, okay, Christian can decide to say, the other backslide, I don't know what they call it. I'm no longer practicing Christian religion. I'm now a Muslim. The Christian will not overreacted, neither will they chastise then or go after him and decide to execute him because he left Christianity and go to Muslim. Do you know if he's a Muslim and leave Muslim religion and go to practice Christianity, he or she will be executed. Aside the other things that goes with it, if you are not a Muslim and you reside in certain quarters, they come to execute you, they buy you. The main frontline people will say, oh, these people is not one of us. They're lying. It's just like somebody that is doing court fraternity in Nigeria. When people went to go and buy somebody, the Supreme High Lord will say, no, we are not associates with these people. If Ayes go and buy somebody, the New Black Movement will say, no, we are New Black Movement. We don't associate with Asme or Ayes. If my fight went to go and fight and buy somebody, oh, the Green Circuit will say, no, we are Green Circuit. We are not, that is how it is. But deep down, these people are one. You cannot separate the shaft from the other one. You cannot separate this one from the, they are one. They know what they are doing. They use this one to carry out the atrocity and use the other one to protect themselves. That is how I see this religion. And everybody must put hands together and make sure that everything is checked. I'm not against any religion that you practice. My own is that, like what this man said, let there be peace in Nigeria. Let everybody coexist and live together and make sure that we all live peacefully. I'm not trying to say Christian is better than Muslim or Muslim is better than Christian. My own is that let everybody be peaceful. If you check Nigeria recently or across the world, the people that are buying people, killing people, executing people, terrorizing people have been traced to one particular religion. And that's why people are afraid. Now, that's why in Nigeria now, they said Sharia law is lie. A man approached a woman and said, I want to marry you. Because the woman said, I beg, I don't want to marry Muslim. They said he blasphemed against their religion. In Nigeria, they stoned her to death. In the same Nigeria, there was a WhatsApp group in Sokoto that belongs to students. Some people were sending their Islamic prayer points in there. The lady just said, I beg, me now they send no rubbish prayer for year. Yeah, now student platform, they burnt her alive. Why? Because they said it's a Sharia and it's against their religion for you to blaspheme. And till date, nobody were arrested. It is not the first time. This is not the second time. It is not the third time. And whenever they do anything, they use Sharia to protect their people that you don't have right to blaspheme against their religion. Anyway, I rest my case here. I stood to be corrected. If you're a Muslim scholar, and please comment your thoughts in the comment section. Any area you think I got it wrong, politely, I will accept your correction. But let's just rub mind and tell us what is the way forward in all of this. That is my own bigger point of making this video, so that we all will coexist and live together like the way it was before. You see, Hausa people coming to your quarter, they rear cattle. You see, even when you see those birds that flies in back of their cattle, we sing that time, like give me water finger. We were living peacefully. We will see Hausa people will say, Mala, give me one Tozome, I give you one Yaninya. Everybody were coexisting together until this Sharia law came and they said, my people, nobody can go to farm anymore. The terrorism have taken over Nigeria. Everybody now see everybody that is practicing Muslim as a terrorist. Everybody is afraid of their life. How are we going to go back to those days where everybody were living peacefully? That is my take. Please argue with sense and tell us your points. I love you guys. Peace out.